Ulrich, so has there been any reaction to this, what the minister is saying about the occupational health and safety standards and, compliance with it?
Good evening to people. Well, from the farmer's point of view, they didn't give us specific feedback or comment on the meeting that they had with the minister and the MEC. Basically said that this is the 1, 2, 3 that we are doing in the heatwave when it gets really, really hot. So we're talking about making sure that the farm workers have adequate water, that someone is always there going through the vineyards, making sure that people get adequate water. They were talking about getting people work under shaded vineyards compared to tending to the young vines. That's the vines that will give grapes in the next 2 or 3 years. So to nurture those ones are without shade. So basically getting them into the shady area, and then also to make sure that people, once they do feel that they need medical attention, to basically get them medical attention. But in terms of the issues that the minister and other government officials raised, direct comment from them, they were not forthcoming. We tried to speak when we initially started covering the story. We tried to speak to some of the farms. There are 4 where people died on the farm, and they basically told us we're not giving comments. We are investigating. Some of them actually disputing that the farm workers actually died of heat stroke, and saying that basically that there needs to be an investigation into the death of these people.
All right.
These farm workers who had died as a result of heat stroke.
Unfortunately, the sound is not the greatest, particularly my end. You sound a bit muffled, but I'm hoping that I've heard quite a bit of what you've said. Now, the 4 that you mentioned, because we've just announced that the death toll from this incident comes up to 8. Is this separate from the 8? And are you able to tell us if when these deaths would have occurred and if they were in proximity to where the 8 workers died?
Well, there are 8 people in total who have died since the wave started. So basically from last Tuesday, people started rushing to the local hospital, the Kakamas hospital in this area, and they started being treated. The doctor that we spoke to last week said that 4 people were dead on arrival, so they couldn't basically do anything for them. Another 2 passed on, or 3 passed on while they were treating them, and 2 they successfully managed to treat. Those 2 they were released or discharged yesterday or this morning. And this morning we heard that the 8th person has actually passed on.
All right, so a bit of background into this latest incident. As you mentioned, the employers mentioned the safety checks that they have in place, but are you able to share with us the conditions under which they work and how long some of these workers had been there at this particular place of establishment?
Well, the 2 that we spoke to yesterday, those are the 2 that survived. They basically, one of them, it was the first time that she started working at the mid-year in the Lower Orange River region. The other one said that she has been coming, all of them are migrant workers. The second one said that she started working here about 4 years ago. So this is the 4th year that she has been coming to the Northern Cape from the Northwest and giving her service to the farmers here. So you have people who have been working here for a long time, others who have just basically just started. But it's a very difficult situation that they work under. Those vineyards, and we've experienced it firsthand. do get quite hot. I'm talking about 40 degrees Celsius, 45 degrees Celsius. In some cases, about 2 weeks ago, Kakamas actually registered about 51 Celsius. So you can just imagine if that is within the town area, and then you go to the province area where you have those granite stones, which actually bounces back heat and sun and creates actually more humidity. So that 51 might be on paper, or as they say here, a 51 in the shade, but it's much, much higher, in terms of how you perceive or how you feel that heat.
As you say, Ulrich, some of these workers are seasonal workers, and we know the legal protections that those enjoy are very minimum. What is the community response to this? Are they able to share if, particularly in situations like this, if these are long-running conditions that they feel that they enjoy very little protection because A, they want employment, but secondly, because some of them are seasonal, they don't really have an organized structure to which to appeal to?
Yeah, so we spoke to one gentleman as well Friday, and he basically told us that, listen, I don't have a choice. I have to work, I have to provide for my family. And if it means going into these vineyards when it's 45 degrees, that's what I need to do. They also complain that, they don't really get a choice. So they are sent to an area for for whatever hours that they have to work. And then they do the work, stay in the sun, and then sort of get back to the area where they live. What we've also noticed, Tsepiso, is when we went to one farm, because they are told that you're going to stand in the burning sun and your skin will burn, is that some of the workers do, if you look at the visuals that we're playing now, is some of them wear very thick uniforms, and then also some of them even winter jackets just to protect their skin from the sun. And that also creates then more heat within their bodies, and their body temperatures rises. And that sort of makes it more for them to get heat stroke.